What's up? Alright, so got a buddy and he said, man, look, where do I begin? I want to ask my medical professional about a selective androgen receptor modulator, and God's honest truth, I don't know what to tell him I'm going to do here. Well, here's what I would look at. If I were going to ask my medical professional about what a selective androgen receptor modulator, and I wanted to give him the right information as to I'm going to do the one that most closely mimics my goal, then first we must identify the goal. If we're cutting, all right, then there is S4 to begin with. It's going to be not the most anabolic, but it's going to be one of the most dry compounds. It is going to aid the body in reducing body fat while increasing muscle mass, according to the studies done on it. It is going to be a 5-day on, 2-day off kind of thing. And honestly, it's going to be your best beginner's cut. Now, with that said, let's say the goal is a little different. Let's say I'm looking to bulk. Well, if I'm looking to bulk, then I don't want to start with the most anabolic, highest rated stuff, because then it negates in the long run all the other ones. So what I look at doing is a LGD 4033. The reason behind that is not only is it much more anabolic than, let's say, an MK2866, it also is going to be not the most anabolic, and it is probably the most researched out of any of them besides MK2866. Now, if I were going for stamina, MK2866 is unparalleled when it comes to having stamina. Like, the stuff is absolutely ridiculous when it comes to just being able to go and the confidence and the feeling of well-being. Now, if I'm going for strength, I want to do RAD 140. It's going to be your 90-to-1 anabolic to androgenic ratio. It's going to be more powerful than 2866, somewhere around the same strength as 4033, but it's more dry compound, meaning that it's not going to have any water weight or anything like that. It's also going to be more anabolic than S4 while still being dry, and it's going to give that explosive strength from what I've seen. Now, everyone is a little bit different, and you know, hell, some people are allergic to peanuts. You know what I'm saying? So always remember that research chemicals are not for human consumption. They're not to be eaten. They're not to be snorted. They're not to be banged. They're not to be insufflated. They are not to be used by humans for any reason but for research purposes between you and your medical professional. You cannot use these you can't use them without your doctor's consent. Now, you can use them in research for research purposes on a fish, frog, monkey mouth, saber-tooth, spider cricket, like mine. My research animal has done all of these, and he happens to really, really freaking enjoy them, but he's a unique creature. He's not allergic to peanuts or anything else. Sometimes he's allergic to chicks that don't put out and idiots. No. Alright, so we try to retrain both of those, by the way. I'm kidding, baby. I'm kidding, honey. It was a joke. Alright, so second cycle. Once that's done, you're looking at, cycles generally last about 6 weeks with these things. You don't want to go longer than that because it messes with the endocrine system. You don't want to go shorter than that because you don't get full benefit for the most part. Now, with that said, I'm not able to tell you the milligrams for humans. In research on a 200-pound gorilla, mouse, monkey, fish, frog, saber-tooth, spider cricket, those are the There, it's on the board. Now, for a second cycle, let's say you're cutting and you've already went through the S4, then you take the week off and perhaps you hit MK2866. Why? Because it's going to be just as anabolic and it's going to help with the cut without being too much of a bulking agent. Now, if we're going for a bulk, the next thing after 4033 might be YK11 or even RAD140, either or. If you are afraid of the liver toxicity that could happen with a YK11, although it doesn't show this with anybody that I've seen yet, but could happen, then you want to do the RAD140. Now you got MK2866 for your stamina. RAD140 would definitely be the next one for stamina. If you could gain weight and do stamina, then 4033. Now, if you're going for strength, then your next cycle, after taking a week off, of course, it's going to be LGB 4033. Remember, with any of these compounds, you have to have a ½ ounce of water per pound of body weight per day. With hydration, because creates elimination. Remember, the answer to any toxicity is dilution, or the answer to pollution is dilution. The more water we have, the more easily you get things out of the system, which means less toxicity possible. Your system just works better whenever things are fluid. That's Bob, by the way. He's my buddy. We just hang out like that all the time. All right, so anyway, that would be basic. Now, if you do an RAD or an S4, you might want to look at test PCT for post-cycle. If you're doing any of the others, you might want to look at test up. They're different compounds for different reasons. Now, let's say that you're wanting something natural just to boost your testosterone levels as high as humanly possible. Test up. It's going to increase your natural testosterone production by up to 364% while reducing estrogen by 35%, as proven in studies on the ingredients in that product. And it has to be that product because those ingredients they have to be cultivated and they have to be taken at certain times of the year by a certain species of plant. I swear to God. You know when you got the right stuff because customs will hold it for 90 days before they release this stuff to you. It's amazing to me. Now, with that said, if you're taking one of the DHT compounds, test up PCT. If you just want something to boost testosterone, it would be good to alternate those two every now and then because your body will get accustomed to the same thing for long periods. It's kind of like if you were to take a medication, before long you become immune to it. It becomes like Kool-Aid, right? Well, same principle here. Trim can be taken with any of these to create insulin sensitivity and to shuttle all food into the muscle for building muscle and burning fat. It is amazing stuff. If we want to, honestly, all these will work better with MSM plus C, which I will explain in another video soon. Make sure that you drink your water. If you're drinking anything but spring water, get some pH drops and put in there because that's going to put the minerals back into your water along with the electrolytes necessary to hydrate and not dehydrate you. Filtered water does not hydrate. It can absolutely dehydrate the system. That would be counterproductive, and you'll know that whenever you start cramping. So that's your basics for your first run as to what to look at, and I don't know how to make it any more simple, plain. Oh, research chemicals are not for human consumption. They're not to be snorted, they're not to be banged, they're not to be insufflated, they're not to be swallowed, they're not to be plugged, they're not to be put on food as food additives, or they are not to be given to your mother-in-law. They are simply not for humans. All that New Roids guarantees, or New SARMs guarantee, is that what's on the label is in the bottle every friggin' time. Beyond that, it's on you. All right, research chemicals can cause bodily harm. They have not been evaluated by the FDA, the ATF, NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, and they are not intended to diagnose, treat, prevent, cure, or cause, or any disease. They are simply for research purposes, on research animals, in research facilities, to do research, because we like to research. Or they can be used if your medical professional gives you leave, because he is way smarter than us and he knows exactly what we should do with our body, or at least according to the 210,000 Americans they kill every year. You might want to be careful about that. Nonetheless, SARMs.com is the only source that I know of that is checking for purity, consistency in a capsule. If you get liquids, they generally start to degrade within 90 days, so you want them fresh. If we provide a liquid, it's got to be made just then, or we just don't do it. The capsules in a dried powder form, your SARMs will last 2 years before degradation begins. Trust me, these things don't last that long with us. So you don't have to worry about them being fresh, them being potent, them being ready to roll. MSM honestly should be taken with any of this for detoxification, hydration, elasticity, absorption, and SR9009 and MK677 can be used along with these with your doctor's permission, just because, well, they're not SARMs. Those are growth hormone secretagogue and a RAVERB agonist. Now, a lot of people for cutting will want to use GW 50156, which could be taken on top of these, but I find that SR9009 works better, and MK2866 is just better for stamina anyway. But anyway, all that you can find at newsarms.com. Any questions? My name is Seth Williams. My email is sethnhc@att.net. My telephone number, please text me, 256-497-0494. Don't call, because I'm probably not going to answer if I don't have your number saved, and I'll save that through text, and then we'll talk. You can use promo code Seth for 15% off if you do your gains report. All right, which is in the top right hand of the screen. I'm going to set it up where you get 50% off anything you want. That way you keep records and help us to get analytics so we can serve you better, because my only job is to help you get what you want, get you where you want to be, help you to improve, and in doing so, it helps me to pay my bills. So anything you need, that's why Seth's here. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Peace.